Hello, fellow Fleet and Mobility players. I'm Daniel Bland, host of Expert Talks from Fleet Mobility Today. And joining me today is Ernie Garcia, and he is the Director of Fleet Management and Business Systems at Gothic Landscape. Ernie oversees more than 2,600 assets across multiple states, leading a team that manages fleet operations entirely in-house. So with certifications in CAFM, OSHA, DOT, and social media marketing, he leverages data and technology to streamline processes, reduce costs, and explore sustainable solutions through EV and hybrid pilots. Today, we'll discuss AI-driven SOPs, predictive analytics, compliance, and leadership strategies shaping the future of fleet management. So hello, Ernie. How's it going?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
No, I'm pretty good, pretty good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So you're in LA. I guess you're in the northern part of LA or Los Angeles?
Yeah. We're about an hour away from Los Angeles, north.
Yeah. So I lived in Los Angeles for a while. I remember hanging out at sometimes at Castaic. I guess the Castaic Lake is kind of
Right
close
where
to
we
where you're
are.
at.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right
I
where we
had a little boat at that time, messing around on the boat there, skiing and stuff like that. It was fun, but yeah. So so I guess let's get down to the questions, Ernie. So with Gothic managing over 2,600 assets, how can AI help create SOPs that stay consistent across divisions while adapting to local needs?
So what I've found is it's all about how you write the prompts. The prompts right now we're working on training a bot that is very familiar with DOT law, California state law, FMCSA law, and being able to really get it to the right methodology to give the right answers when local fleet managers ask a question. Then when we ask it, I like for a standard operating procedure. We always double check because AI isn't perfect, and you want to make sure that you're getting the right information back that you want to see. But how you write the prompt in the very beginning is very, very important.
Yeah. So I'm messing around with AI too, and yeah, I'm learning about this too. You need to know how to write that prompt. Yeah. So I'm learning as I go as well. And what's the best way that predictive analytics can alert operators to maintenance or risk without overwhelming them with too much data?
What I found is start small. So start with one alert at a time. Get the right KPIs that you're looking for, and make sure that you build on that. So if you start with 10, they're going to be getting a lot of alerts, and it's going to overwhelm people. But if you start with one, they get used to it. Maybe a few months go by, and then we add another one on, and then we add another one on. So that way they know what to look for, how to use that data. Otherwise, it just gets out of hand really fast.
And most of your drivers are they have vehicles for work, right? For like tool vehicles.
Yeah, so our bread and butter unit is our contractor body F-350s, but we have everything from an Escape to semi.
And so you work in which states do you work in? Not only California. You're based out of California, but you worked in a few different states. What's your coverage area?
California, Arizona, and Nevada.
California, Arizona. Okay. The neighboring states. Yeah. And how do AI-driven SOPs, and predictive tools, how do they enhance compliance and safety, especially because especially with OSHA and DOT standards in mind? How do you do that?
So the models actually do a very good job of ingesting best practices from other companies, local laws, current SOPs, and then custom requests. So it's able to kind of aggregate and get everything all together into one beautiful, very fast response. And like I said, all you have to do is maybe double check it to make sure you're getting the right information back. But it really, really helps with speeding up the process. Like, for example, I rewrote a lot of our fleet policies in the past 6 months. I was able to do our driver safety policy, our fuel policy, our credit card policy, our MVR policy, like a lot of these policies that would have taken, I don't know, probably a lot longer than I was willing to invest into getting those done within a week.
So you need to be on top of what the legislation in California and then the other states as well. So I guess because it's different, huh?
Yeah, once you get the model trained the right way and you ask the right prompt or ask the right questions, it kind of takes it structures it in like maybe a best practice of a company that's already established this, and then maybe has it on the web somewhere, so it puts it in that right format, and then it might even think of a couple things. So like when I was redoing our driver packet, it actually asked, hey, do you want to include document retention limits in the packet? And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And then it was like, hey, do you want me to reference each FMCSA law, each California law that this is complying with on each page? And I was like, yes, that'd be perfect. And it actually did all that and made the document significantly better than I would have thought to do myself.
Yeah, sometimes you're or sometimes you have this in your mind, but then it just spits it out. You're like, oh yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Exactly.
And then, but you always like, I find that this AI, so these tools, it saves you a lot of time, but you have to do your due diligence and you need to know your stuff too. It's not like you just can't know anything and just like let them do everything. You need to know the fundamentals of what's happening with your business. But I think in time, it just keeps getting better, and it keeps getting better with time in the in the years to come, maybe in the months to come. Yeah,
agreed. I mean, I was able to review this packet, and my prompt specifically said, hey, remove any redundancies, streamline this to make it as concise as possible, but make sure that the company is protected, make sure that you include these items, and make sure that that it's easy to understand. So it was able to rewrite these policies in a manner that like anybody can ingest without it being too complicated or something, but we're still complying with the law, we're still protecting the company, all these things, we're checking all the boxes.
And you guys, you deal with sustainable like EVs and hybrids and stuff like that, right?
Correct.
And as you're piloting these EVs and hybrids, how might predictive analytics guide smarter adoption of sustainable fleet technologies while controlling costs? Okay, so we want to be sustainable, we have to control costs at the same time. So I don't know, how do you balance that?
I think the biggest one is probably total cost of ownership. I mean, everybody's pretty aware that the EVs have very little maintenance. Hybrids are kind of the middleman. They're right in between, and you're able to get a lot of the benefits of an EV, but then you have a lot of the benefits of an ICE vehicle. So I think that the total cost of ownership is that's what you present to stakeholders. This is an easy way for us to get some reduction in emissions with hybrids or EVs, and look at the maintenance costs long term. Like, this is going to save you money. A lot of the vehicles that we've been looking at are actually cheaper than the ones we had in place already. So like, we're saving costs from the purchase, we're saving costs from the maintenance, we're saving costs from the fuel. So overall, like, the total cost of ownership is going to be the key.
Yeah, so we know that energy, like electrical, the cost of electricity is cheaper than gasoline. In the United States, because I deal with a lot of different countries, it's not as advantageous because gasoline is for a reasonable price in the United States if you compare to other countries. So we save money with this. You're saying maintenance is less. The initial price, from what I understand, is still quite a bit expensive. But did you just say that maybe you're finding some that are like comparable with the initial cost?
Yeah, if I'm talking to, I'm specifically talking about the Mavericks. So we transitioned people from the F-150s to the Mavericks, and if they didn't have the requirement of towing, and we've seen a lot of progress there. I've talked about this in other publications, but like we've seen around 6% of savings from a F-150 to a hybrid, case by case, but probably on average.
And how's the issue that everybody talks about? I'm worried about the range, the how far I can drive with the car, or maybe like the availability of infrastructure. You're in California, so it depends on the state in the United States. California seems to be a little bit better in terms of this. How do you feel about that? range anxiety? I don't know, infrastructure, is it available? What
Yeah.
do you think?
So I definitely learned a few things in the pilot process. When it comes to EVs, it has to fit the person. It has to fit their daily commute. It has to fit, their, whether they own the home that they're living in, or whether they're renting, or whether they're going to have a charger in their vicinity. So a lot of factors go into play. We've had a lot of success with the EVs, but there's been a lot of complications if you go strict EVs. Now that the California has kind of pulled back a little bit on the mandates, we have a little more flexibility of like how we bring them in versus how it was, a few years ago where we thought we were going to only be able to buy EVs and we have to hit certain benchmarks and stuff. So it's a little bit more flexible now, and we understand them a lot better now. So it's the range anxiety is person by person. I think everybody has that same misconception when it comes to range anxiety. But I think once you've actually tried it, you're like, oh, this isn't as bad. And also, ICE vehicles have range as well. Like, you can still run out of gas in an ICE vehicle. You can still have the similar complications, So it's just when it's right there in front of you and you know that vehicle cannot move when the battery hits zero, that's when people start to get a little anxious.
Yeah, you just got to manage yourself properly, I think. So all this can be helped with, like predictive analytics, and then also with AI tools, I guess, that can help you with do all this kind of stuff as well. One last question I get when introducing AI-driven SOPs or analytics, what leadership approaches help you secure buy-in from the other people on your team, like managers and operators?
So the biggest thing is to not overcomplicate things. I try not to put too much red tape. I try to make sure we're in compliance, but we're still being flexible to the field teams. That where how much is too much, and so we try to keep that balance. So when I deliver an SOP or I deliver some information to the fleet managers and say, hey, this is the method that we have to go. This is where it was before, and I've been able to trim it down to this. I'm able to try to get the best use of AI to be able to develop the most lean possible compliance result. They're usually on board. They understand. Everybody in fleet, I think, understands compliance. But if we can make it as easy on the operations teams as possible, then that's the best way to go.
Okay, cool. Maybe I got like about a minute left. So you remember when I said when I used to live there, I used to hang out and go over there and take the boat out and stuff like that. So what do you do? Like you're responsible for a lot of vehicles, and if you need to relax, this is just it has nothing to do with fleet management. Just what do you do? What are you doing now? You're in sunny California. I don't know if it's it's not always sunny, but it's usually sunny when I was there. What do you do to relax?
Golf. I do golf, a lot of the gym, but I try to get to golf whenever I can. It doesn't happen as much as I'd like to. I'm pretty busy these days, but and I try to travel with my wife as much as possible. Wife and daughter.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, that sounds cool. So I guess that's about it. Ernie, in our conversation. So Ernie, as you people out there, he shared some insight on managing Gothic's 2,600 asset fleet, leveraging AI for SOPs, predictive analytics for maintenance, and compliance, with OSHA and DOT standards. We also talked about piloting EVs and hybrids, touched a bit on that, and the leadership strategies needed to secure buy-in, for innovation across divisions and operations. So, I just want to say that's about it, I guess. So, Ernie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks, of course, you who are watching the FMT Insiders. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep following Fleet Mobility Today as we drive the future of mobility together. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.